Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is September the 5th, 2022. Today is Labor Day, so happy Labor Day to all the people out there. I come to you guys today to discuss three stocks that I'm looking for in a rebound in this shortened week. I'm also going to be taking a look at the S&P 500, where we left off last week, and what my goals are and targets are going into the shortened week ahead. Before we get started, guys, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And be sure to subscribe to the channel as we do release videos every week, usually on Sundays. This week is special as it is Labor Day and it's coming to you on a Monday. But click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you are interested in trading with us on our Discord channel, Wealthy Mentor Trading, we do have a 2-month $97 summer promo currently going on right now. Click that link in the description. That should get you sorted out. Everything being discussed today is part of the group. We do day trade, we do options trading, we do swing trading. We give you analyst upgrades and downgrades along with market analysis every morning to get you prepped. So that being said, I do have the S&P 500 here, and as you guys know, we were hovering around that $4,000 line to close out last week. Unfortunately, we broke that psychological $4,000 line right here. We did have a doji candle, which means an indecision candle. Basically, it's a tug of war between the bulls and the bears, and basically the bears won out, right? We are continuing this downtrend ever since Fed Powell came out and spoke regarding the whole economic outlook, and it didn't look too well, so that drove the market lower. We are at a standstill right now at that $3,900 line. We did have a couple of bounces here on the daily time frame, but unfortunately, when we did bounce, we couldn't get past that $4,000 level. As you guys can see on this daily time frame, we got a rejection at the 4,000 area and once more here the day before. So we are stuck into this little channel between 4,000 and 3,900. Personally, when I look at this chart, I'm looking for a continued move lower, right? So I'm looking for a break below 3,900, more towards that 3820 line where we did have some solid consolidation here before receiving some sort of bounce. But overall, the outlook on the market is bearish once that $3,900 line breaks, and the chances are that we hit 3650 greatly increase once that number 3,900 breaks. But first things first, my first target to the downside is that 3820 line. So that is my first bearish target, along with 3800, holding that psychological point as my next target, right? So be sure to watch 3,900, guys. It is a short week, so that's your key area to understand if we are going lower. Now, if we want to move higher, we got to make a move above that $4,020 line and close above it. So I want to see a candlestick close above that area for a potential retest of 4180, which is what you're going to be looking at on a longer term basis to rechange the trend right now as we are bearish. All right. So as I discussed earlier in the stream, I have three stocks that I'm looking for a rebound this week, and all three stocks are part of the semiconductor sector. The first one being Nvidia. NVDA is the ticker, and Nvidia recently, declined 15% last week alone, and the news was in relation to this new licensing requirements from the US on some of the company's advanced chips, which will impact sales to China. Nvidia is approaching that critical level right now. As you guys know, I am going to switch over here to the weekly time frame to give you guys my outlook and where I think this stock is heading. Like I did mention, 15% decline on the week is major. As you guys can see here, we are hovering around that 140 line, which is an area of key support, right? We're looking at areas between 140 and 127.50, where we basically traded for a year from August 2020 all the way to the breakout area in May 2021. So just under a year before we saw a breakout. But the point is that we did consolidate in this area for quite a while. And here we are again, dropping into this area on that 15% drop last week, right? So we did close the week at that $136 area. And again, this is one of those stocks I believe will head lower this week, dropping down to that area of 127.50, where I believe right between 127 and 130 is a great buying opportunity, especially on a big name like this. It is also approaching critical oversold conditions on the higher time frame, so keep that in mind. Again, It's one of those buying opportunities for a name that you haven't seen in the gutter basically since 2020, 2021, right? So we are a level of where buyers have a lot of demand, right? I don't envision this line breaking. However, if we cannot hold 127.50, another buying opportunity at 116 exists. And at this point, we will definitely need to see the markets, the S&P 500, drop below 3,800 and most likely head down to that 3,650 bounce area that we had mid-year, right? So a lot of things have to happen for a stock like this to drop even further below 127.50. But keep those in mind, guys. That 130 to 127 target is my first one, and my second take profit target is that 116 area, which also lead to both great buying opportunities. So keep Nvidia in mind. We are at 136.50, so I am looking for a continued drop down to 130 and 127.50. That little range right there, where it's pretty much this right here, and you're golden. So watch for Nvidia and watch for the market to bounce around that 3820 area, 3800 for Nvidia to also bounce at 127.50. All right. Another name that is correlated to this and that is part of the semiconductor sector is AMD, right? AMD also had a declining week, as you guys know. We did have a nice bounce here at that 72.50 area, which did result in a 42% bounce, guys, right? So during a bear market like this, the swings are going to be volatile and they're going to be lengthy, right? So uh, a move like this, catching AMD at 72.50 and pushing it all the way to $100, that's a hefty 42% bounce that you can definitely get a lot of gains from, right? So at the moment, we are trending lower and approaching that area of 72.50. And the key to technical analysis is the more you touch a support zone, the weaker it gets, and you don't get that bounce, right? So the weaker it gets, you drop below that. And at this point, I don't see that happening anytime soon, similar to Nvidia, unless we get some sort of market catastrophe dropping down to 36.50. 72.50 is an area where it is a buy zone for the bulls. As you guys can see here, they bought at 72.50, pushed it up to 95. Again, dropped here, 72.50, retested 83.5, and tested it here, and then we're off to the races at $122. We have another opportunity here again in the markets this week, dropping down to 72.50. So definitely keep your eyes on AMD and NVIDIA, where there's a correlation for both of them, especially with the new government licensing requirements that is probing NVIDIA right now. So now to the upside, what do you want to see if we do not hit that 72.50? Let's say the market's open up strong. Where do I see it going, right? I do have that 85.50 as overhead resistance. And to me, I am going to hit that area with a rejection, right? Similar to these drops right here where we did move up, we tested 85.50 and we got a rejection. Similar thing here for the bulls, right? That is to me the high point of a move higher on AMD at the moment. So if we do move higher, 85.50 is that area of resistance. So definitely watch out there for a lot of sell orders, a rejection at some point. And if we start the market on weakness, I am looking for a buying opportunity at that 72.50 area on AMD. To me, Nvidia and AMD still have some more bleeding left in them, especially if the market does not hold that $3,800 line that it's teetering on right now. All right. The last name on the list for this week, this Labor Day week, is SMH, the semiconductor sector itself, guys. So to me, guys, it's very simple. Names like Nvidia, AMD hold a large weight within the semiconductor sector. And, the last time we hit this area of 190, which I have drawn out here, we did receive a nice 30% bounce, right? Similar to what we saw on AMD and similar to what we saw on Nvidia. So again, guys, with this name, I'm looking for a continued move lower, right? So I'm looking for a break below that 204 area for this week alone, dropping down to 190 as my first take profit area. And I am looking to see if we hold that line. As you guys can see, we did receive a bounce prior. And if we cannot hold that line, guys, we also have this area of support down here at that 173 line. I don't envision that happening at the moment as long as the S&P stays above that 38 to $3,900 line around that support area. However, if we eventually drop lower, retesting 3650 yearly lows on the S&P 500, I definitely see the semiconductor breaking trend below 190, hitting targets up 174. However, that's in the long-term range. I'm more concerned about what's happening this week. 204 is that key line that you should be watching for shorting opportunities on Nvidia and AMD, right? So when you look at names within the semiconductor sector, those two names strike out, but what you got to look at is the sector as a whole. If you see a sector as a whole dropping down, you're definitely going to look at those two other names and correlate to this to give you that heads up that, hey, we are moving lower. Hey, you got to pull that trigger on that short trade. So all these things are discussed at Wealthy Mentor Trading. We do give you the heads up on these entries and exits every single day. So if you are interested in trading with us, click that link in the description. That should get you sorted out. So to the upside, I definitely want to see a move basically back to that 246 area. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But if you want to see a temporary move, I'm looking at a move above 123, right? It is the bottom of this area of support, which now turns to resistance to the upside. And it is also area of resistance on this candlestick here on the weekly candle. If I was to switch to the daily time frame, you would clearly see that we did get a rejection here at 223 before dropping down lower to that 204 line, right? So 204, we've already had a daily bounce. I'm looking for a break lower to that 190.50 take profit area on the semiconductor sector. All right, guys, so those are three names that you should definitely watch for a bounce, a rebound. They all are approaching oversold conditions, not on the 5 or 10-minute time frame, on the larger time frame. So definitely watch out for Nvidia, AMD, and semiconductor sector SMH in a shortened week. All right. Thank you for joining us on this Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.